Hey everyone, today I'm using the Call Me Crafty SheetLoad of Card template for March 2026, and I'm going to be creating 25 cards using a bunch of leftover pattern papers. This sketch has a really interesting feature. I managed to find a die that I think will work super well for this. It is part of a set from Spellbinders, and that set is called the Make-A-Wish Arch Labels. It's currently 50% off, so you might want to go and check that out. I'll put a link below. The creative team have all used the same sketch for different projects, so if you would like to check out different ways to use the same sketch, you can do that based on the playlist that I've also linked down below. Now here I am with my scrap box. I often get comments about how tidy it is. It's only because I have a whole bunch of 1 1/4 or 1.5 inch strips left from a giant project I did in the past, and it's given me so many leftovers that anytime there's a sketch that has strips in it, I try and use up more of this box. I used to have 2 layers of pattern paper strips in this box, and I'm now down to 1, and you can see there's a little bit of room to move them around, so I'm working my way through my stash bit by bit. Now for the feature panel, I decided to just use white cardstock for all of these, and again, because I'm using this bulk style, I'm using my little Spellbinders Scout here on my desk. It means I don't have to go and find my bigger die cutting machine, which is at the other end of my crafting space. And I'm just running through with some scraps of cardstock. Now you may not be able to see here, but I'm lining up the arch really quite specifically in the middle of that rectangle, because I thought the rectangle with the arch cut out of it might actually be an interesting feature that I can use on one of my card projects moving forward. For example, maybe one of the ones where I'm trying to do a little bit of mixed media and I'm trying to do some height and some layers. We'll see how it goes down the track. Here I've got a huge pack of bits and pieces from Paper Rose. These came in an odds and ends pack as part of a clearance special that they did a couple of years ago, and I'm trying to work out which pattern papers match some of the pattern strips that I've got on my desk. Now at this stage I had no idea what I was going to match with what, but I knew that I was going to have lots of different color combinations and lots of different styles of cards, so I had no idea what my feature panel was going to be like. I just had scrap 6x6 paper and I had some scrap 1 1/4 inch strips. So it was pretty close to the sizing that I needed for the project, and I was just sure I was going to figure out a way to make that work. Now, as part of this project, I did record all of my color choices when matching the colors to the backing panels, as well as all of my choices when I was matching the feature elements to the card bases once the pattern papers had been attached. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do a longer video where I show all of those choices. I don't know that I'd be able to do a voiceover for all of it because it would be quite long, but maybe I could put some music or something in the background and that would make it a pretty easy video to create and upload. But I'm not sure if that's of interest because I feel like a lot of people enjoy the voiceover and the explanation as to the choices I've made and what I'm doing when I'm creating the cards themselves. But please let me know below what you'd prefer. Now here I've run through and I've chopped everything down into the 5 1/4 by 4 inch panel. And now I'm running through and trying to work out 2 of the plain cardstock and 2 of the pattern papers that will layer on top of each other that will be a nice contrast to the backing panel. So all in all, I'm using, I guess, 3 types of paper. So 1 for the big panel, and then 1 color for the shadow layer, and 1 color for the pattern paper on top. As I was doing this, I was really trying to pick things that would contrast with each other because I didn't want the shadow layer to blend too much into the background. And I was pretty impressed in the end that I managed to come up with some combinations that would work. It got a lot harder as I worked my way through the little stash that I have created here. But by doing the double-sided tape on the back and then adding the shadow layer with the pattern paper on top, and then the next shadow and then the pattern paper on top of that, really the main part of the panels were all created quite quickly. And after I had completed these and put them aside, I then started to work on the arch and was trying to figure out what I was going to do to decorate those. I will admit I did not have a lot of time when I was working on this project, and so the thought of stamping and then having to co-pick colour or do something that would take quite some time per card wasn't going to work. And in fact, I tend to avoid anything that takes quite a bit of time per card because I do create a lot of volume and try and make loads of cards that I can donate to local charities and that I can give out to family and friends. For this section here, I just left in a couple of the different color combinations, but you can see how easy it is to just add these pattern papers one by one. And this is sped up 3 times, so it's a little faster than the way that I would normally do it. But I actually found it was quite easy to do this while watching a movie or listening to music or a podcast. It was quite easy to multitask because it wasn't too scientific. It was literally just lining it up. Really, I didn't even measure. Sometimes when it's a really fiddly design, you'll see me line up the base panel on my grid, but for this one, I didn't even bother. I was just adding the pattern papers, and I knew that I was going to be adding the arch shape over the top, so everything did not have to be completely perfect. I really love how for some of these I've put the backing layer on top, so that one there with the green and the grey worked out absolutely perfectly. Because, again, I didn't have a lot of time while I was working through this project, I decided to use some of my PET stickers. Now, with the first few, I actually cut around the edge quite closely to remove some of the clear, shiny part of the sticker because it does stand out a little bit when you use this style of sticker on a card. But then in the end, I decided not to bother. But I did wonder if I was to use my scan and cut, if I could use the scan and cut to cut the edge a little bit closer to the sticker. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever done that before or if you think that that would work. I have not used my scan and cut in a couple of years. It's in my spare room, just unused and just put aside. But I was thinking it might work out really nicely to do that because, again, if you have too much of the sticker around the edge, it gets really shiny, and I'm not a big fan of that look on a card. I ended up using 3 different packs of the stickers. One is the fairies, another one is the different females with the flowers and things in their hair, and then the third one was farm animals. And the farm animals are a little bit quirky, so they've got really, really bright colours. There was roosters and cows, and I think there was a bull and a chicken. And I just picked the ones that I thought were in a colour tone that might match one of the card bases. But at this point, I really had no idea what sticker I was going to add to which card base. So I tried to pick out the ones that had a really unique colour as part of it, and then match that up first. For example, these ones where they have the red hair, I thought they will work absolutely brilliantly with a couple of the panels that I had that had like a bright orange background, and I thought that would work absolutely perfectly. And then when I got down to the few that were left, they all had sort of similar tones. I did do some of the pink and purple ones first as well, and I ended up with this one pink card on the left hand side, and I had no idea which one of these I was going to add because I didn't feel like any of them really had pink tones. They were really more autumn tones or fall tones if you're in the US. So in the end, I just tried to figure out which would be a better fit out of all of them, and I just came up with a way to make it work. They're quite forgiving because these little fairies in particular have lots of colours. They're like a patchwork quilt style of design. Super, super cute. And they definitely worked out really nicely for this project. And I did make everything a birthday card today. So I used the same sentiment so that it was nice and quick. Had a few card bases left that I did not attach any of the sentiment panel to, but that's good. I'll have them for another day. I have put some links here to some other videos that I think you might enjoy. Have a great day.